My name is Brandy Benito, and I'll be doing my resources review on low-income families in Florida. I will be looking at the different government programs that are accessible to these families, as well as the family life education programs that are available to them. And we will talk about how we could help these families uh, learn about financial literacy and management. Our target audience are low-income families and ALICE families. Low-income families. The poverty rate in Florida in 2018 was 13.6% overall, 19.3% were children, 14.1% were working age women, and 11% were working age men. ALICE stands for Assets Limited, Income Constrained, Employed. In other words, these families have income above the federal poverty level, but below a basic survival threshold. The threshold for a family of four in 2018 was $50,100. And it was found that families needed income of about twice the federal poverty threshold to meet basic needs. So both low-income families and these ALICE families do not meet those needs. Families below this threshold are considered low income. 49% of children in Florida live in low-income families. Some of the programs that are available to these families through government assistance include SNAP or EBT program, temporary cash assistance, Medicaid, assistance with utility bills, and low-income housing. First, let's talk about the SNAP benefits. These are food stamps, and these food stamps help families purchase groceries. Second, there is the temporary cash assistance, which provides cash assistance to families with children under the age of 18. The third program that is available through the government is Medicaid, and this is a program which provides medical coverage to low-income individuals and families. There is also programs that assist these low-income families with paying their utility bills. So there are a few that will go through the utility companies, which will offer help to these low-income families to help them pay for their bills, come up with a payment plan for them, or would come up with grant money for these families to help them pay off their bills. Lastly is the low-income housing, or housing vouchers. There are several apartment buildings that are available for affordable housing for low-income families. And then there's also HUD vouchers that can be used to help pay a portion of a tenant's rent if they qualify. And currently in Orlando, Florida, the waiting list for these Section 8 vouchers is closed and has been closed since 2015. So this is a very, very important aspect of the life of low-income families. It is something, especially in Central Florida, that a lot of people have issues with. The cost of living is very high, but wages are staying steady. So as the living wage continues to increase, the actual wage that workers are given is staying the same. So these vouchers and this waiting list is very important. It's something that needs to be worked on, so that way our families are able to afford housing to be able to provide that basic need to their children. So where's the gap? The gap that we found was that there are repeat users of government aid, and there are certain things that with some of the programs where there is a limited amount of time that you could use these aids. For example, um, uh, unemployment could be used for a certain amount of weeks and then it stops, and then it could be used again later on for the same amount of weeks. Um, but then there's the temporary cash assistance where you can only use it for a certain amount of weeks in your lifetime. So what we would like to do is try to help these families to become more self-sufficient. And in order to do that, to be able to make it so they don't have to use this government aid as much, we hope that we would be able to find a way to connect these families to family life education programs, especially the programs that cover financial literacy, money management, budgeting, and savings. So we believe that to be able to help these families out of repeatedly using these government aids, if one of the requirements was to take one of these FLE programs, um, that would be something that in the long run, they would be able to become more self-sufficient. And we would like for these families, not just the parents, but for the children to um, take part in these programs. Some resources that we looked at is the Orange County Youth and Family Services, the Family Resources Program, Goodwill Industries of Central Florida, in association with In Charge Debt Solutions, United Way, and Florida Literacy Coalition. The Family Resources Program, which is provided by the Orange County government of Florida. The services they provide are to residents who are experiencing an overwhelming or unavoidable crisis that could last more than 1 month. So this could be due to disability or a long-term illness, but these are also people who are trying to get back into the workforce. And it could also be a disaster that we are experiencing. For example, COVID-19 would be something that would qualify for this program. And these services include learning how to budget, financial assistance. They also help find community services, such as other FLE programs, to help them get established with. And we help them find services and benefits. And this is a program that is offered for free. There are those certain requirements, as we had stated before, but this is usually something that the family would actually have to go out to. Next is the Goodwill Industries, and in association with In Charge Debt Solutions. So they offer free monthly personal finance workshops, which include credit reports, savings, and budgeting. Each session lasts for 2 hours, and in certain locations, they provide these sessions in both English and Spanish. With United Way, there are 3 particular workshops having to do with financial literacy. The first is the youth workshops, and for the youth workshops, they are teaching from a realistic perspective. Basically, we're teaching these children exactly what their parents have to go through when it comes to paying bills, setting um, setting up savings accounts, and saving for certain things. So the topics that they go over in the workshops are setting financial goals, housing, and saving up for college or vehicles. The second type of workshop is for senior citizens, and senior citizens are the ones that are most vulnerable to um, scams. So the topics for this workshop includes identity theft, planning for big life events, unexpected life event, and scams. Lastly is workplace workshops. These are free on-site financial workshops which happen at the workplace. And what they go through is how to allocate your money and budgeting. They talk about saving for retirement and they talk about planning for the future as well. Another program is the Florida Literacy Coalition. This gives educators and students online access to resources, webinars, and grants for adult basic education. Their curriculum specifically for financial literacy includes talking about credit, banking, home ownership, and loans. They also talk about English for adult basic education, math, and health services. There are some other topics that they cover in this Florida Literacy Coalition, but specifically for the topic at hand, we mentioned the financial literacy aspect of this program. So as you can see, there are many different programs that are available to these families. The only problem is having these families take into the consideration that these programs are needed for them to move on from depending on government programs. One of the things that we would like to take a look at is being able to work with the staff and the professionals in these government programs to help these families find the program that is perfect fit for them. I believe that having an in-person classroom program is what's best for these families to learn about finances. Being able to do it in person by hand, I think would be something that would come across as easier to retain information that way. Also, these families are able to take the responsibility of being involved in this type of education because they actually have to go to these classes. So the last program that we brought up, which was the Florida Literacy Coalition, that is for both adults and children, and they do offer a lot of online classes and online resources, but they also have a portion there where you can take a look at the programs that are available in your area so you're able to actually go and take classes. So I think the biggest thing that would help our low income families to be able to move away from depending on the government programs is to have it be mandatory that they take a family life education program. So that way they are learning how to do all of these um, budgeting and learning how to save for big purchases and how to allocate their money better. I think that would be the biggest thing that would help them uh, steer away from repeatedly using government aid. I would like to thank you for taking the time to listen to my presentation, and I hope you have a good day.